I'm your host, Greta Mami, and today I have the pleasure of sitting with Yana, otherwise known as Yana Butterfly Effect, who is a world-renowned or East Coast-renowned music DJ that brings some incredible sounds to people all over the world. Yana, thank you so much for sitting down with us and letting us know the story and the making of your music and your passion.
Thank you so much for having me.
Before we get started, I always like to ask one question to all our guests. And that question is, when I say the word rootless, which is the name of our mission and our platform, does that word resonate with something inside you?
Oh, absolutely. It's what you're doing, it's your rootless, what you're passionate about. You have to go for it no matter what. You have to listen to your gut and totally relate to being a ruthless
person.
Yeah. In your case, entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yana, what was your first introduction to music? Make the connection for us. Bring us back to those young early days.
Sure. So music was always in our house from very young age. And I would always remember that I would always listen music whenever I have a free time. It was kind of my escape. I was always very busy with school, extracurricular activities, everything. So I would, whatever at night when I have time, it was my dreaming time when I put the music on and just always listen to it. And I went to the piano school. So I played piano, but ballet school, and of course, so there was a lot of classic music. And as a part of being in school, we have all those, and I have always passion to that. It's always something was special to me.
And talk to us about where you grew up. Talk a little bit about your roots.
Sure. So I was born in actually very north of Russia. In Monchegorsk, it's very up north, but my family is from St. Petersburg, Russia, and because of my dad is a military, so it's almost I was grew up in the North Pole. Was born in a place where at nights the light is bright. It's a very special, magical place. I think maybe it's connected to music somehow, but I don't know. But I'm from St. Petersburg, Russia. This is where I grew up.
And you moved to the United States at a young age?
Yeah. Almost 17.
Wow.
Also to St. Petersburg, but Florida.
Okay, so you kept the St. Petersburg. Okay, so you let me make the connection here. Born in Russia, moves to the United States at 17 years old.
Yeah.
And goes to college for
biology.
Biology.
Yes, always wanted to dream to be a doctor, so I volunteered at the hospital. Had 2 shifts at Old Children's Hospital, Johns Hopkins, working, and also in parallel going to college and then university, getting straight A's, participating in the research symposiums, and aiming to go to medical school.
Wow. Walk me a little further.
Yeah.
Here you are, biology. I'm going to go to medical school. And then where does life put you?
After that, there were some circumstances, but then I started, after volunteering at the hospital, I was introduced to the clinical research. And I got my first job at the Old Children's Hospital, and I started to be a clinical researcher there. And slowly by that, I moved down to Northeast, working here. And now I'm working in the pharma, as it's my second job to the DJing. I manage clinical trials in Duchenne muscular dystrophy. My dream is for the young boys, it's a detrimental disease. It's usually manifested at age of 4. At age of 12, they usually are in a wheelchair and they can die out of the cardiac arrest at the age of 26. So it's a male dominant disease. It's not manifested in females, but my dream is that I'm very passionate about this as well. And then I want the boys to go in there, have fun on the dance floor.
Wow.
The ones that there's no cure right now.
There's no cure.
Absolutely, yeah. And we're one of there's 2 companies that one company that we're competing, but there are only 2 companies right now who is trying to create a cure for this disease. So that's my day job.
Wow, that's pretty impactful, and hats off to you. So Yana, here you are, biology, helping find cures, and music comes along the way. how was the music aspect of DJing born?
So the DJ started when I moved to Boston and I was helping my friend with the fundraisers. Her name is Carolyn Kim. She was the founder of the Good Ones, always putting together the events, and part of her program was the fundraisers.
Wow.
And she always would love the music I would put in the background, and we had a gatherings together, and she knew that I'm so passionate about it. She said, you know what? Why don't you try and gonna give you an opening spot at our next fundraiser. So she gave me a week, said, are you gonna make it? I said, yes, I'm gonna do it. So I went to Guitar Center, bought my first little mini controller, and spent all the evening nights just prepping, and then the day came. I was super nervous. I still have this video when I'm trying to hit the bottom. I look very hilarious.
Like, I hope it works. Is it plugged in?
Yeah. But and then people like it. I saw people were dancing. It was such a success. And then slowly after that, I got residency at the Chalet Bastille Kitchen. It was my first place, and I would DJ there every Friday. I'm very thankful to them. That's how people knew me, and they said, well, there is a unique, this underground place where people can come up to the dinner. It was sophisticated, and where I play all my the music that I was collecting, and people really, that's interesting. That sounds odd from what's all around. And then I started to getting gigs, and I think I at this point DJ almost everywhere in Boston.
So those first early moments, I just want to pause there for a minute. So here you are, you're given this opportunity. How did you even position yourself? Like, do you remember that first day when you were like, hey, can I play here? Like, I'm Yana. How did you do that? Because that takes a lot, especially as a female, to walk in into an establishment and say, can I play my music here?
Interestingly enough, and it happened to me in Boston, people were coming to me.
Wow.
I never had to ask for gigs. Wow. At some point I had to cancel because I was finishing my master's, working full time, and then the DJing. At some point I had to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It was just too much. And people would word of mouth, and they would just hire me to corporate events or parties and stuff like that. It was just happening, It's kind of, I didn't have to beg for opportunities was coming.
So you're saying, hey, if you're a woman DJ out there listening to this, sometimes you might not even have to beg. You might just position yourself and...
Yeah, the most important thing is to play whatever you feel and find your unique niche and just...
Okay.
Go with that.
So that's my next question.
Yeah.
How did you know? Because let's say, for the purpose of this conversation, I want to be a DJ, but not everybody can be a DJ. How do you find that calling of the sounds that are true to you?
Even if you're in a specific genre, I always ask, what is the type of event? How big is the crowd? How big is the venue? Is it an opener spot? Is it a middle spot, or is it a headliner where you're closing up? So it's all those variables put together. You want to create a set that's just for a vibe or Sunday chill, but it's all, there is a lot of factors that coming into the play when you have to be very strategic on how you putting your set together. So
in those early days, how did you put those first sets together? What would you say helped you in those early days of not only understanding your audience, but also yourself?
Yeah, and I always, before the gig, I always would prep whatever the song is speaking to me. Every single song, you have to feel it, and then you have to put up, because the energy radiates. If you just playing, and one of the biggest mistake, maybe that's what I'm disagreeing with a lot of people that say, okay, well, you have to listen to the crowd and kind of playing for them. I completely disagree with that. I think that you have to play what is you feeling today. Because if you relate to the song, to that energy, people will love it, because they're like a sponge,
Right.
That it's a whole flow in the dance floor. So in order to create it, you have to feel the track. And if you're super disconnected with it, it's not gonna work. that's how the magic starts. You know, you have to put it out, and people, it's like a constant back and forth.
So for you, that's what the secret was in
Yeah.
those early days.
It's like
feeling it.
whatever I feel, the track, and I always prepare for that particular, you know, event. Of course, it should be within those parameters, and that's how I pick my set. I prepare, I spend a lot of hours to prep for it, and then when you go, you're hitting it.
And I'm going to ask a little
Yeah.
bit later on about what it takes to make those sets, but before I do, I want to learn about butterfly effect.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us the story about that. Why butterfly effect?
So the butterfly effect, it's actually a recent addition that I had. I was used to be just by Yana, but the butterfly effect, it's again about the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted people to be on a journey with me. I call my set as a storytelling.
Yeah.
I want them to transform, to feel, and then I want them to, you know, one time I heard, when I was DJing at the Bijou, one lady DM'd me, it looks like your sound is so different. It's almost like I have a feeling I went to a church. So that's why I want that, because in metaphysics, the butterfly, it's that the small actions in one place can cause a tornado. The butterfly flip can cause the tornado in the other continent.
Wow.
So I wanted people to transform and not just, okay, well, we have fun, you know, dance to the music. It's very passionate. I call my sets very being passionate. So it's all about emotions.
Wow.
So that's the whole butterfly. I wanted to feel them.
And people are definitely feeling it, but what does the behind the scenes look like? Because when we are sitting at your set at Zuma and we are vibing and having an incredible experience, what does it take for you to put that effect on for all of us? Well,
first of course, it's the selection. And then it takes hours to blend it in perfectly, because I layer one song on top of another, and you have to listen to it multiple times, you know, to find the right acceleration point, you know?
Right, so it's a lot of hours.
It's a lot of hours. It's not just, some people DJing on the fly, and a lot of it, there is occasions when I can do back to back, but in order to do a performer set, I usually prep it. With all the cues, and it's kind of like a map that you have to do.
In those early days, you're making the sounds, you're putting the set together. Yeah. Any moments looking back where you're like, oh man, I wish somebody would have told me something?
Oh, there are a lot of them.
I guess a few worth mentioning.
Yeah, there are a lot. Well, first of all, at this point, I think I bought 4 sets of equipment. Oh. Absolutely not necessary.
Not necessary.
No. My biggest advice for a beginner, the DJ, ask around which equipment you should buy. I was doing all research on my own, and the equipment that I bought at first was not ideal, so I wish somebody would tell me this.
Early on to say yes. You mentioned something earlier about a little girl playing piano, which was you. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I want the audiences to realize that, yes, you did go from biology to scientist to DJing, but like that was always there. Yeah. It was just you identifying with it. Can you recall a young memory of yourself with your first love of music?
Yeah. Well, my favorite thing was whenever I have a free time and my parents would step out the door, I would crank the music and imagining that I'm something saying with the music to the crowd. I'm in there, I would use the remote controller as my mic, and I'm singing, I'm there. It was my favorite thing to do, just to be in the front of it. I was imagining there's a big crowd, so it's always there.
But isn't it funny how in life it finds you later on?
Yeah.
That small calling that you have as a child.
Yeah.
You grow up and you're like, hey, here I am doing that again. No matter how much you try to deviate, it finds you in its unique ways. And I just wanted you to bring that memory up because I think it's important to make the connection. As you're getting started, it's a tough world. Music in general, it's a tough industry because you have to have a lot of grit and it takes a long time for somebody to acknowledge you. Would you say that there was any critical connections that you developed along the way or any positioning that that helped you gain momentum?
It's kind of a flow with you meeting people, but one of the critical connection I think is my friend that I help with the fundraisers. She saw the talent in me, and she actually very talented in seeing those sparks in people. I think it's her eighth sense for seeing those things. So I'm very grateful to her. And I'm always saying so to see that and give me that opportunity and believing in me. So I think this is one of the most critical connection I had.
And everybody can obviously make one of them. How does somebody in your industry go about creating connections? What would you say is the number one way for a young DJ to enter this world?
Spend time on your product, because creating how you market yourself, which platforms do you use, and creating your image and finding your sound. Spend a lot of time what's differentiate you from other DJs. That's very important. But with the connection, it's kind of like humble, but it's people will see you. Right. It will come to you. Nobody likes beggars. So you can nicely create, of course, your press kit and send it to who is a booking manager or something like that. But they'll see you.
So talk about those early days again of creating an image. Your image is very different. I'm assuming that was intentional. Talk a little bit about how you decided to create a certain image that appeals obviously to a very specific group of people you're trying to attract.
To be honest with the images, it's just me, kind of.
It's authentic.
It's very authentic. I'm just being myself. I call my music it's more ethnic, but it's very sensual, emotional, but it has a lot of propelling, progressive, and techno beats to it. That's I would say, rootless entrepreneur comes in, because I'm a bull. I'm gonna knock those doors. And I'm gonna work hard to get one. So I think I'm combining the sensual part with my very stubborn and go for it personality.
And can somebody do it themselves, or do they have to hire third parties? Can somebody that's starting out save some resources and do that imaging?
Oh, you mean the social imaging, media, all that?
Yeah, the imaging, the branding aspect of it, or would you recommend that they reach out to somebody to help them?
It depends. I mean, of course, aid would help how to brand, but for me it kind of came together. It was my own concept. Right now I have people who are helping with the social media and with the videos editing. I have a video producer, but other than that I have also a photographer in Tampa, so who's doing all my special
And you mentioned a little bit earlier platforms. Find which platforms work for you. How did you find which platform worked for you, and what are those platforms?
Well, number one is the SoundCloud platform, of course, for a DJ. That's your resume. I wish I started my SoundCloud platform early on. It was for me just, it's a hobby. People are in Boston know me, and I didn't have to work for it. So once I started to go outside of the Boston, everybody, okay, what's your SoundCloud? What's you? I said, okay, I wish I did it early. So it takes time to build it up.
But SoundCloud is
SoundCloud, for music, SoundCloud is one of the most important ones.
Has your music changed throughout the year? I just asked this question because I want people to understand that maybe when you enter with one doesn't necessarily mean that's where you'll stay. Has the genre changed?
Yes. So it's the first that it was more kind of Eastern deep house, a lot of bass, and then I transitioned a little bit to the tech house. I thought, maybe with the tech house, I'll be able to go to the clubs, DJ more there, but it was not. I just DJ for a little bit with that genre, but it didn't connect it with me, and I saw it, my crowd that would come, they didn't react that well, so I quickly went back to more deep house, melodic, and I think now I have my own sound.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, and you said the crowd didn't react to it.
Yeah.
So you were very in tune with that.
Oh yes, when I play something that I'm not connecting, the crowd is not reacting, and that's just the magic trick. I don't know. It's just.
And you feel that.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Talk to us about that. Like, can we talk about one experience where you're like, this isn't working?
Oh, people,
do you remember the day? Like, can you recall a special moment?
People are like, okay, well, they leaving, or my people who always come, they would leave.
What does that make you feel? Like, if I was me, I'd be like,
it's okay. It's a lesson learned. There are no mistakes.
I want you to talk about that. Like, how did you take that? Because some people, especially people starting out, might get very discouraged from those. No. Like you said, you have to change along the way.
Yeah, it's a lesson learned. It's okay. We have to learn those lessons.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. Was the lesson that I learned, just DJ whatever you feel, and people will react.
So you're like, just back to the drawing board and start again tomorrow.
Yeah.
What success or what mindset do you keep every day? Like, do you have a certain mindset that you keep every day as you're making these sets, as you're making these connections, as you're playing for these different people? What do you wake up with every day that you say to yourself?
Yeah, well, work hard, be kind, repeat, and kind of, I always in tune with my intuition, whatever. It's being with the flow. It's very important not to I'm recently been thinking about this more and more, that you, how to not go forward most resistance, because I'm very pushing the doors, but I learned how to be with the flow. And then the opportunities will come to you. You will connect with the right people. Sets will come magically. You just have to find that flow and not to be too into pushing, going through those resistance. That's what I've learned, in the past years. So I think this is my mindset, to be in that flow.
And not necessarily push too hard.
Not to push too hard. Of course, work hard. You have to work hard. There's nothing comes easily. You have to work hard. But be in that flow. And my advice would be, if opportunity doesn't come, it means that that's not the right place for you to DJ, and it's okay. There's gonna be another will come. Somebody will come to you, contact you. Okay, we love your music, we love your vibe, we love your look, we love everything. What about you? We want you to DJ here. So my biggest advice would be not to discourage, and because a lot of people told me no, of course.
Talk about that for a moment, because I think that's important to highlight, that a lot of people told you no, not everybody told you yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Like a big clubs, one of the biggest entertaining scene here in Boston said hard no multiple times. When I was of course DJing events and stuff, but then they said no.
Not for us.
Not for us. And then after that Bijou team came in, and then they hired me, and
but you magic said multiple times. You said they told you no multiple times. So you kept trying.
Yeah, I was keep trying. And then they said, okay, you know what? And then at the end, I was like, oh, I'm glad I was not there. Because it was not my sound.
So it's almost in a good way they did you a favor by telling you no.
Yeah, that's why.
It was you were trying to go against the flow.
Yeah.
And a young DJ starting out, what's expected? What's good? What should they aim for in terms of being booked? What's those first years looking like?
First of all, you have to build your portfolio, and then find maybe a little bar, club, restaurant, wherever they can get a residency. Find at least one, and work there and create your vibe, create the people that will atmosphere, and people will show up. So maybe once just keep going, get the residency somewhere. That's the key number one for somebody who's starting.
And I'm going to bring it back now to the scientist, because you're still doing that.
Yeah.
Part of you.
Yeah.
Before this interview, you shared a candid moment with me where you told me how you introduced yourself. How did you used to introduce yourself before, and how do you introduce yourself now? I think it's important to highlight that, because a lot of Rootless listeners might resonate with what you're saying.
Yeah. So because I grew up in a very strict family, that they want me to be a doctor, I was like, okay, I have to be serious. I have to, went to a biology degree, getting my master's in Harvard, working, being a clinical operations lead now, and manage clinical trials. And everybody, well, are you a DJ? And I was always embarrassed to say, no, I'm not just a DJ. I'm also a scientist. I'm also working, I have a responsible job and all that. But now, I'm telling you, so you know what? I love music. I'm a DJ, yeah. I mean, if I'm meeting somebody in the entertainment scene, and if what I do is that I'm a DJ. I don't have to add. I don't have to add that extra to defining where I know who I am, but I don't want neither to kind of add that.
When did you learn to drop that? Like, what changed that you dropped it?
Just to be confident with who you are, I think, and to be connected with your calling. And my calling for music and being connected to that passion helped me to be more confident with who I am, not to listen what family wants from society wants to be from you, especially being a DJ in New England, where everything is very pharma, tech, education. People are very serious. Saying here, oh, I'm a DJ, it's kind of, oh, you can be, I thought that you can be looked down, but I learned that no, it's not. It's also a job. It's a responsibility. It's a lot of preparation, dedication. It's not that easy. There's a lot of people thinking that it's not challenging.
So you're saying, I am Yana, the butterfly effect, and I'm here to tell you that today I go by just that. I don't need to add the scientist because this is my calling now, and I don't need to tell you what I was doing before.
And it's if people, of course, interested, I can tell them my story and what's additional things, but be true to yourself and be confident.
Absolutely. Wow, that's big. That's really bold. And I think, Yana, you sharing that, it's really bold because it's going to speak to a lot of people that maybe want to do something but don't take that leap for various reasons. Any big successes that you've celebrated recently that you want to share with us to give us some highs now of this industry?
Big success. Well, I played live on Ibiza radio recently. I also played in European radio. I played, actually on Thursday I'm going to be playing at the Abracadabra TV, which is a big milestone and opening for also big artists such as Sabo, Golpak, and being part of the Century. It's one of the events in Miami. So actually going to Greece to play in end of July, August. So
for the Zuma group.
Yeah.
Which is an incredible.
That's exciting, yeah.
Those are incredible moments, and the reason I asked you to share those highs with us is because that's what it's all about, right? That whole curve and staying in tune with yourself and going with your own flow brings you to these incredible partnerships. Music is always changing, right? And I asked this question, I said, what are you doing to stay ahead of that curve? What's that creative process look like?
So I use different, of course, platforms to listen to music, and I always listen a lot of new stuff, what's coming, and sometimes on social media people are postings, but there's a lot of algorithms that now is working, and that music has just literally come to you.
Yeah.
So
what's the creative process look like? Do you get inspired just by sounds, or is there art or culture that inspires you as well?
By feeling, how I react to song.
Wow, so it's okay. That's
a butterfly effect.
If you could single out one reason for your success, would you be able to identify to something? If you could say, I am Yana and I'm successful because...
What are the factors?
Yeah, some factors that you think are what led you to being successful, balancing not only DJing, balancing the scientists and all these things that you've gone through.
Where it be on a schedule. Because of course entertainment world can get you into the different places. Be organized, but in order to, and what I've been talking through the whole part is that finding your sound and being true to yourself. That's the biggest. That's the biggest. It's all about the feeling.
Yeah, and did your family believe in your DJing skills, or do they believe in your DJing skills?
Well, at first they were kind of shocked, to say the least. But I think at this point they're already accepting it. Oh, where are you going next? So they're accepting it. It's fine. So right now they just accepted it, and they'll let me do whatever I want.
At some point, they're gonna embrace it.
Yeah, but my nephew, he's my biggest supporter. Whatever I felt down or something, I actually spent a lot of time during COVID down in Florida, and he is so amazing. He was like, Yana, you can do it. Yes, he's such a biggest supporter in me.
Yeah, that's incredible to hear. Like, it's funny how sometimes you find support and it's such unlikely ways that sometimes as a child just telling you that in the purity of their words. Yeah, what do you do for fun? When you're not DJing, when you're not getting a set ready, what are you doing? Because we're coming to you when we're having fun, but what are you doing?
I actually love to be by the water, meditate, read books, just to have that calmness and stillness. It's very important. I won't say it's for fun, but it's just to get the energy stable, grounded there into all the spirituality. I don't say if you can do it for fun, but I'm also, right now at this COVID time you cannot do it, but I'm a big lover of the theater. I have a membership almost here, and I would always go to the theater here. So something for my soul. It's very, our performances I love to do.
Wow. What's the goal, Yana? What's coming next? What's your plan? I know you must have a lot, but you don't have to share all of it with me.
Yeah.
But I want you to share with us a glimpse of what's coming.
Yeah. So working on producing my own song. So I think that's kind of the next step.
The next step is producing your own sounds.
Yeah.
And you walked us through the story from St. Petersburg to coming here to taking biology and becoming a researcher, to finding your calling again from the young pianist girl to music. And through all of that, through all these steps, what's your message to somebody listening that maybe wants to do what you are doing, but can't find it in them to take the courage and the leap of faith? Because maybe they're too traditional, or maybe they think that they won't succeed, or they won't make an income out of it. What's your message to those people?
To get out of their fears. Be fearless. I actually want to always to do that tattoo on my back. I don't have any tattoos, but I want to do an arrow and put the fearless. I feel like that's what defines me. Be fearless. If you believe in something, and what I always believe that I'm gonna play music, people will love it. It's my passion. I'm gonna do it, and that's what I wanted to young DJs or whatever who wants to get into that field is just be fearless. Don't only be fearless, it will come. Opportunities will come, gigs will come, people will come. If you believe in what you do, it will come.
You said for young DJs out there, don't spend too much money
on equipment. Yes.
Equipment.
Do your research. There are a lot of right now equipment that is compatible to a club standard that supports, for example, record box. Learn not on Serato or something that is for, plan big. Plan that you're gonna be playing at the clubs, because when I said, I'm just gonna do it, I'll buy the most cheapest equipment and just for a little bit, and then I have to reinvest all the programs, software, everything. So just from day one, think that you're gonna be playing in clubs. So invest in the proper equipment.
And is there any platforms that people can use to help them? Can you name a few that you're using?
Rekordbox is buy the equipment that supports the Rekordbox, because it's a club standard. It's been and will be. So,
and anywhere where you can play with sounds, is there any platform that you can buy beats and sounds?
If you're going into production, but that's a total different conversation. But you just have to buy the controller and have a software the computer with a lot of RAM, because it takes a lot of power. Or you can go with the USB and play with your controller and record your sets from there, whatever you feel like it's most comfortable for you.
Wow, it's great that you're saying that, because for the average Joe, me, it sounds so complex.
Yeah.
And you're here to say, well, no. You can get started with very few things. You just gotta, again, have that creative process, that authenticity that speaks to you, and you can get your engine started. As they're starting out, just keep trying. You might get a lot of no's, but eventually you'll get a yes. Somebody will say yes to you. Do you chase people after to book you again?
No.
No. Well, how would, talk to me. I'm very young. Let's say I just started. How would I get rebooked? What is it? Any tip to somebody trying to get rebooked?
So in order to book, you have to create what's called press kit. It's basically your most sexiest thing in one page, 2-page max. It has to be unique, your highlights, and that's what you're providing to the booking agent. You can send it, and then you can kindly follow up after. But if it's not happening, it's not gonna happen. But that's okay. They'll keep it in mind. It will come.
I'm gonna ask a few questions about being a woman in the DJing world. How has that been? Has that worked for you? Has it put you in a competitive advantage?
Yeah. Yes and no, but you have to be. There's a little bit of stigma of the female DJ. Oh, they just book because they're pretty. No, you have to be even better than the male DJ. You have to be so prepared. You have to be on your point game. You can't just be, oh, la, la, la. I'm just going to play whatever comes. You have to be on your A game, be better than, because there is that stigma.
Has that stigma, do you find it lessening as more and more female DJs are coming into the scene?
Yeah, there are a lot of DJs, and you can tell right away if she's serious and into the DJ or just pressing the songs. So you can see it right away. But I would encourage to spend time, like tailor your techniques.
Tailor your techniques.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a
tailor your
stigma,
craft.
but
Yes.
you gotta show up and be twice as good.
Yeah, you have to be twice as good as a man, because you always will look, oh, well, another pretty face. No.
No, just
not a pretty face. Absolutely not.
A talented face.
Talented,
A talented person.
yes.
Fine. So being a woman has been a competitive edge, although with a stigma, but it's a conversation starter. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm pleased to see there are more and more female DJs out there. So it's a unique time.
What does the fans give you, Yana? I know you have a lot of fans now. Talk to us a little bit about the feeling we know the feeling we get from you, but what feeling do you get from your fans?
It's so special. Whenever I have a good night DJ and I see this reaction, next day I'm waking up like it was a Christmas the night before. I feel so complete. My soul is so happy. It's just I'm getting natural high from this energy. It just makes me very happy. When I see that people are disappearing in the music, it's just incredible feeling.
It sounds incredible. I am convinced 100%. I would like Yana to make some sounds for us right now. But would you recommend this as a career path to somebody else? If I told you I love DJing, would you tell me, Greta, how to do it?
Sure. If you feel like it's your call, absolutely.
It is an industry where you can make a career out of it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt.
No doubt. So you're willing to say goodbye to the scientist for the DJ?
Not yet. I'm still there, but we'll see. But we'll see. I mean, my scientist gave me that core and a ground. I'm kind of more serious when I'm DJing, so I think it's adding a flavor, if you can say that. To my music, it's very deep. So I think it helps me to put in meaning or something that has a value to it. It's
No. I completely understand. I just asked that because it's important for people to understand, because sometimes others may be thinking, as we're speaking, others may be thinking like, well, can this be profitable enough to be a career for me?
Yeah.
Because I really love it and I'm willing to give it my all. But can this be rewarding?
Yeah. No, it can be, but look what happened with COVID. And you can be out of your job for 1.5 years. So thankfully I had my other job. So it's a balance. You can do both. There are a lot of people that who are actually doctors, and I know one person who is a doctor and a DJ. So you can do both. The DJ is requiring you being there at nighttime.
So you're here to tell people that, you know what, you can start by doing both.
Yeah, you could, and I'm helpful. I'm very thankful to my job because I was able to build my brand, because it's expensive, doing the videos. Sometimes you're not getting paid, of course, for flights, hotel accommodation. At the beginning, you have to invest a lot. It's one of the most expensive hobby you can have.
So can you talk to us a bit about that beginning? When you said you have to invest a lot, right?
Yeah.
You're getting booking and you're so excited, but they don't know how you're going to show up there. They don't know where you're going to stay.
Yeah, and you're not going to get paid a lot. if you are playing somewhere, small, you're not gonna get paid a lot. Be ready for that. And you just purchased a super expensive equipment and you have to pay it off. Or if you get booked somewhere, you will be paid a couple $100, but you have to get there. So at the beginning, you have to have some sort of cushioning, yeah.
All right, so of course DJing can be a little expensive hobby to start off, but nonetheless, if you're committed, invest in yourself, invest in your dream, because eventually it will reward you and it will pay you. And maybe you'll even get your accommodations paid for. You'll become so big, everybody will want you, right?
Yeah.
That's the goal, that's the objective. Yana, you've shared so much with us and you've given us a glimpse of what it takes to become not only a DJ, but a female DJ in a competitive marketplace where there's always something new, a different sound, but you're saying the way you've come out, and the tip you can give anybody listening is to be authentic and be in tune with your own self.
Yeah.
Because that's the way you're going to create the biggest fan base, because it'll be truly your sound.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not just playing for people, you're playing for you. Because when you play for you, everybody can feel that energy as well. Any final thoughts or any final comments that you'd like to leave a Rootless listener with that might be very inspired by your story and want to take a similar path?
No, it's just what I was saying. Be true to yourself. And don't be afraid to close one chapter, open another chapter. But be cautious. Think about what's the next step, planning. But at the same time, don't be fearless.
Wow, there you have it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to close one chapter and go to the next. But be cautious and be fearless.
And also, most important, don't leave the life of others people. That was a big one. Don't leave as what's of your family or for somebody, your boyfriend, your friend, how they see you. Step out of yourself and look, how do I see myself? Because this is extremely important. Then you'll be able to get connected with your true pulse and not being afraid and to say who I am and be proud of it and get confident with that. So this is one of the biggest things.
Don't live the life of others.
Don't live the life of other people. They might want you to do something and have a different path for you, but that's their path. Even if they, out of all their love, they want you and think that, well, this is the best thing for you, but just listen to that inner child, that little girl, little boy, whatever you were doing in that childhood, what makes you happy? That's the most important. What sparks your soul? Because we need so much in this world, people of being happiness, because happiness radiates, happiness increases, all this good energy. How we can bring it out to the world is when you do something that you are happy with, that sparks your soul. That's the most important thing. So don't be afraid to find something that will spark your soul.
There you have it. I couldn't have said it better. Live your life, not the life that others want you to live. So
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Yana. It's been an incredible conversation. I love listening to all the messages that you shared. I think it's so bold what you've done, and I think it's incredible to see a female behind the DJ booth and the energy that you bring. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.